5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't even know what's happening.
Put it in sport mode, and you're gonna fly.
Just exactly how awesome was it?
The mighty Nissan GT-R.
You've got the Mustang, the Camaro, the Challenger, the Corvette, the Viper.
America.
Damn, I forgot the bananas.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we'll do it live. Yeah, we'll do it live. Crash, bang, boom, noises, doing it live. YouTube feed that somebody forgot to mute, popping back up in the video.
Every time.
People probably just think that's part of the intro music now.
Yeah, I think so.
Why is the count not in there twice? That's so weird. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the TopSpeed.com podcast.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
TopSpeed, that almost sounded like the terrible noise in Price is Right. Boom, 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 boom.
Meow. You just lost all your money.
TopSpeed.com podcast. And the podcast is the thing that you listen to that is on the internet. It's like a radio show, but on the internet. TopSpeed.com, however, is an automotive-based website where we cover all of the cool things in the world that have motors, wheels, that sort of things. They move, they go fast, they hold people. That's what we do. That's what we like. That's what we talk about. So, hello, everybody. I am Christian Moe. Today I am joined by our editor-in-chief, Justin Coupler.
Hey everybody, made it here without any technical difficulties on my end today. My mic worked, my headphones worked, my camera worked. Man, I think it's the first time in weeks.
Web of lies! Something is broken and we just don't know it yet.
Or I'll find a way to break it one way or another.
Like halfway through the podcast, we're just going to get a chat from Hulty or somebody that's in the live chat. It's like, so why am I watching Justin's home movies?
Uh-oh. Won't they turn them off?
All
right. Also joining us is Mr. Mark McNabb. Hello, Mark.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
All right.
Okay, I'm asking a question.
But they can't answer you. Or are you asking us?
Yes. How are you doing?
Oh, yeah, I'm tired, but I'm here, working
that's
live.
great.
I'm wearing a shirt with a car on it that's fun to drive, but I don't like.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, all right.
I'm wearing a hat with a car that I can't afford, so fair enough.
You could afford a used one. I see them for $4 or $5 grand all day long in Knoxville.
I'll tell you what, I wrote an article about the 2 Series the other day. Oh, I want the M235 so bad.
See, I'll want one when they make a proper M2.
Yeah.
I don't know. That M235 is pretty badass.
I'll stay away from the half-assed M2. All right. So again, thank you everybody. I would like to ask you guys one little favor. Podcast has been growing. Oh, Hulty's online. Hi, Hulty. So podcast has been growing and doing well, and we appreciate that. We're on 31 episodes now, and we love that you guys hang out with us every week. But if you like listening to us, and you have a friend who's like a super big auto guy, why don't you be like, hey, there's this cool thing I listen to and I watch on Thursdays. You should check it out. And see if they check it out. Because if all of you guys tell one person and that one person listens, we doubled our traffic and we doubled our viewers and then we're doubly awesome. Which means you guys are doubly awesome for watching. So, yeah, if you guys don't mind, be like, hey, friend of mine, check this out.
You're in on the ground floor. You're like starting a trend.
That's right. You could be one of the cool kids that
you can watch us
we're cool.
Yeah, you can watch us before we all sell out.
Yeah.
Start wearing BMW hats and Scion FRS.
That's right. Today on the Scion FRS TopSpeed.com podcast, this was free from an auto show. I was at the New York Auto Show that I had to pay to get into the first time I went, and they had those shirts.
Yeah, my hat was free with the test drive of a 435.
So
I'm wearing a
we're
black
not being bought.
It's nice.
Except Mark, he's brought to you by Chuck Norris and Chuck Norris's beard.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, we're going to start the show a little differently this week. We're going to start it with one of our question and answer segments. Because we had a question on last week's show that's a random not car question. So we're going to start it off with all of our random not car crap we seem to do at the beginning of the show for no reason.
Yeah. It's fun
So
anyway.
Carl Knox says, hey, off topic, but did any of you guys get an iPhone 6 and did it bend? Mark, did you get an iPhone 6?
I take that as a no.
Look how beautiful it is.
No,
yes,
he
look
did.
at it. Look at it.
Did.
Oh, look at you, fancy.
No, right?
Is
Yeah.
that a 6 or a 6? No, it's a 6. It's not a 6 plus. It's not big
It
enough.
is a 6, not a 6 plus, and no, it has not bent. The 6 doesn't have that issue. It's just a 6 plus.
Well,
And it's
no,
only if
they
you're
both
fat.
do.
No, it's only if you're fat with a 6 plus and you sit on it.
Well, but I've seen all the actual testing. All of them will bend because they're all made of metal.
Well,
But,
yes, if
yeah.
I hit this with a train and a jumbo jet in two different places at the same time, it may skew off.
No,
to
no,
one side.
you could actually take it with your hands and bend it. It takes, I think the testing said 90 pounds of force.
Yeah, because I'm Chuck Norris, but I don't
Well,
want
no,
to do
no,
that with my
no.
new
The
phone.
average male should be able to get about 105 pounds of braking force.
Well, yeah. So anyway, no, it has not broken, and yes, I'm very, very careful with my phone. But yeah, I love this. I upgraded from a basic 4. It wasn't even a 4S. It was archaic, and this is far and above way better because it gets faster service, and I can actually download a web page. When I click it, there it is. I don't have to wait 10 minutes, even on Wi-Fi. So
I'm going to go ahead and jump in real quick and say to everyone listening, I didn't actually know he bought one, so I thought this was going to be all of us going no, and we would move on.
Yeah, really. My goodness.
Anyways, I have my iPhone 5S. I
Oh,
do
fine.
not. It does say Mo on it though, which is nice.
What?
Yeah,
at you,
I've
fancy
got my
pants.
name. It's leather.
mine has my apps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty special.
And Justin's still rocking.
I have my
Android.
LG G3 or whatever this thing's called. I debated getting the iPhone 6. I actually am thinking about maybe switching back to T-Mobile because they'll buy out my contract and they give the free iPhone 6. But I'll get it the Plus because I can't deal with the little itty-bitty teeny-weeny iPhone.
Have you seen this thing?
Yeah, no. It's actually about the same size as your phone is now. The 6.
This is huge.
The 6? Really?
Yeah.
I thought it looked big. I thought that was a Plus.
No, this is
that's
the 6.
The Plus is bigger than the Galaxy Note.
Like,
Oh, that's a wow. Okay, that's a big boy.
I don't have anything to compare it by.
This
Here's this book.
this tablet is almost
Here.
the size of a 6 Plus.
This is my business card, and this is the 6.
Oh, okay, there we go. That's a little better.
So,
Oh wow,
I
yeah.
mean-
Because your business card's like the size of the screen of the old iPhone.
Yeah, because I mean that's
Yeah.
you
oh
see how
wow.
big-
Okay.
Okay,
So-
anyways, we're going to move on because I didn't think
Yeah.
this would take that long. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it at the beginning. Sorry.
Rhetorical question.
Let's jump into Weekly Wheels. We're going to start with Justin driving a mom machine.
Yes. Soccer balls are not included, but yes, I drove the 2015 Honda Odyssey Touring Elite, world's longest name for a minivan, and
elite.
I'm not going to talk about how it drives. I didn't talk about how it drives in my review. I'm not going to talk about really the driving here, except that it's okay. It's a minivan. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It rides fine. It handles fine. It accelerates fine. You'll get on the highway okay.
You know what? You know what needs to be said about the driving dynamics of every minivan in the world?
They suck.
It drives just as good, if not slightly better, than your stupid freaking crossover.
I don't know about that because I have a crossover right now, and it's a night and day difference between this and what the Odyssey I just turned in. But anywho, what the story is on this, and I even said it in my review, which should go live, I think, sometime later today or next week, is that the inside is what really matters. You know, that's the key of the Honda Odyssey. Sure, the outside's cool. You have 3 power doors. The 2 side doors are power, and the rear hatch is power. And you can actually open them with a little button on the key fob. So you have like 6 buttons on this little tiny key fob. It's kind of weird. If you have big fat thumbs, you won't be able to actually use it that well. But yeah, just walk up, you hold the button, all 3 doors are open up, you load up your groceries, put the kid in the car seat, whatever. But inside you get all this dead cow all over the place in the Elite Touring. It's on everything except the dashboard. Just like every other Honda product, it has that weird soft top dash.
I love that we say all these dead cows, because I do too, but it is funny when you stop and think about it. You just open up the doors and you step inside and there's just all this dead cow.
The words we use to sound creative.
It just reminds me of that Mythbusters episode where they put the dead pigs inside the C4 Corvette.
Please look at all of the slaughtered bovine.
But
It's just terrible.
And it comes with the Sirius XM. I don't like the way and actually I don't like the way any Honda audio system works with Sirius because they don't integrate it too well with the rotary knob. You have to sit there and push the button and jam the button on the touchscreen and just push to go through your stations. And the touchscreen doesn't work very well, so I don't like that either. The feedback isn't great, so you don't know if you really pushed the button or not. And you're like, okay, did I push it? Because it takes a second to respond too, so it's not that great. And they spread out 12 speakers across this massive van, so it kind of sounds like crap. The audio system is not that great for it's supposedly upgraded, but it's not that great. But what really matters, in the back seat, you have a 13-inch ultra-wide DVD player to keep the kids quiet. And what's cool is it splits into 2 screens. So if you get an auxiliary DVD player, you just grab a DVD player and plug it into the HDMI port or the RCA cable ports in the 3rd row. You can actually watch the main DVD player on one side that's inside the van, and then the secondary DVD player on the second screen. So your younger kid can watch cartoons while the older kid watches whatever the newest pop video is or whatever.
I like that they have an HDMI because that means I can hook up my Xbox in it.
Well, hang on a second. There's one issue with that. Yes, they have an HDMI port, they have RCA cables, and they have an AC plug back there. But the issue is the AC plug only handles 150 watts. The Xbox is 203 watts.
Oh.
So if you plug your Xbox in that thing, it's going to go high. It's going to turn on for about 2.5 seconds, then turn right off.
Well, but
Sounds
that's
like
with the
somebody tried
Xbox
that.
One.
And I'm not sure. I looked on my Xbox. I have the Xbox One. I didn't get to look at it. I looked at my Xbox 360. It said 203. My Xbox One, I couldn't find.
Well,
the
how old is your
specification.
Xbox 360?
It's the big fat one. It's not
Because
slim.
every revision they came out with has lower and lower power ratings. So I think like the newest one, the new Xbox S or whatever, is probably under 150.
That'd be a lot of wattage to cut off, but I guess they redesigned the brick, make the brick more efficient. I guess they wouldn't need that
Well,
much wattage.
and the chips inside. The old ones had 2
Oh,
chips.
yeah.
The new ones only have a single chip. They can buy the CPU and video
Yeah.
card on one chip.
That's true, but I'm sure that the standard Xbox One now probably more than 203, I would assume.
Oh yeah, that thing needs a lot of power.
Yeah. So yeah, you're not gonna hook up your Xbox One in it, but you'll probably get, like Christian said, you can probably get the Xbox S, the slim one, on there and be okay, be borderline. But it's mostly obviously set up for DVDs. But the issue, here's one weird thing about that whole setup. It's in the plugs are in the 3rd row, which is fine, I understand that. But you have your RCA cable, RCA jacks, and your AC adapter plug on one side. Clear on the other side of the 3rd row is where the HDMI cable is. So if you're running HDMI cable, you have to plug in on one side and string the power cord all the way across the other side to plug in the HDMI. Unless you have a long enough HDMI to span the length of the rear seats. So it just seems kind of a strange thing to do. Why they didn't put them side by side, I'm not too sure if there's like an interference issue with the AC plug there or something, but for some reason they put that there. But all in all, it's a family hauler. It hauls the family very well. Even the 3rd row seats have like 40 inches of leg room. The back seats have that magic stowing where you pull on this little cord, it flips down automatically, but watch out not to get your fingers caught inside when it flips over because it kind of hurts. Yeah. In one of my videos, I actually nailed myself, and fortunately, I deleted that video because there were plenty of expletives spoken at that time. I should have probably kept on in for the out.
Yeah,
outtakes,
no. See,
but-
what you should have done is put that video in and then just have just this huge beep as you're like jumping around holding your hand.
That would have been actually a pretty good idea. Damn. But overall, it's a cool van. But here's one issue that I highlighted is this van costs $44,450.
Ouch.
I looked at it. You could buy plenty of German metal for that. You can buy BMW 3 Series. You could buy a 2 Series. You could buy a CLA. You could buy a 4 Series. You could buy an Audi A5. You could buy a whole bunch of stuff.
But that's going the wrong direction.
Yep.
Yeah,
You need to look at what you can buy that'll haul your kids.
and that's what I mentioned. I said they can buy all this stuff, but if you're looking to haul kids, it's what you got, and it's actually not that bad.
Well, but here's the thing: how much do you think a GMC Acadia with leather and TVs will run you?
An Acadia, I didn't get that far into the review, so I haven't gotten to look at the competition. But Acadia with everything, 43,000.
57,000.
Whoo! Oh yeah, Acadia.
Holy
Acadia's
cow.
a little bigger.
If you're gonna jump up to the Acadia Denali and get the nice wheels and the leather and the TVs, you're looking at over 50 grand.
But I'll guarantee you that the Acadia drives significantly better than the Odyssey. Drive the Odyssey, then drive the Acadia. I bet it drives a lot better.
Okay, so I've not driven the Odyssey, but I've driven the Grand Caravan and the Nissan Quest and the Toyota Swagger Wagon, which is a terrible name.
No, it's not. It's awesome.
All three of those drive substantially better than the Acadia I was.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Wow. See, I don't have experience in those.
But again, I do have to say, the last Acadia I drove was a 2013, so it was right before the new model. I don't know how much of the undercarriage has changed in the transition, but as far as the old model, take the minivans all day long.
Now here's one neat thing that I found out about this van. If you do a lot of U-turns or you have to turn a lot of tight spaces, this thing is amazingly tight. Like it turns, I think it's a 36-foot circle. It is very tight. On a 2-lane road, you can just whip a U-turn, no problem at all. It's really cool. I didn't expect that. Because I know my parents' old Dodge Caravan, you had to have like 5 lanes to cross over.
All right, but we're going to go ahead and stop talking about minivans because
yes, it's so boring.
I want to move on a bit. I do want to jump in that, Mark, you've been given some... It's an excited moment that kind of rags on you a little bit. Hulty said, "Yay! Does this mean Mark? Does this mean I'm gonna see some full HD reviews?"
Yes, it does. As long as this thing does HD.
It does. It'll do HD slow mo.
Yeah. So.
Which is super cool to play with, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't, because I've only had it for like 2 days, not even that. So, yes, my videos will be much of better quality now, so I'm excited about that. So
yeah, there you guys go.
Yeah,
but, we're
HD
gonna
video.
move on. Yeah, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna talk about a crossover that you could buy that actually does tend to drive better than a minivan. I was in the Hyundai Santa Fe Sport this last week, and again, I hate crossovers. They are so compromised in so many ways. They're just terrible at everything. They are. But the Santa Fe really tends to kind of not be. It's relatively well equipped, relatively affordable, and I actually just realized that the cheapest one is the best one to buy. So the Hyundai Santa Fe Sport comes in 2 models, a 2.0 turbo and a base 2.4-liter 4-banger with 190 horsepower in this gigantic SUV. I drove the turbo, and I hated the turbo because it does this terrible thing where when you're driving, if you want to go a little bit faster, you give it a little bit of gas, and the car will drop a gear. And when it drops the gear, it slings you up in the rev range because you've got this wound-out 2.0 turbo with like 290 horsepower. The car just fights you and scrabbles away and tries to take off and leave, and you look like you're just being some jerk who doesn't want to let somebody past you because you just lurch away. And then as soon as you let off the gas at all, it wants to save fuel, so it cuts up your gears again, and you suddenly have no power. So everywhere you go, you're like, moving. Anytime you try and go faster, it's super annoying. The base engine doesn't do that. I don't know if it's the way the power band's set up or the way the transmission is designed or whatever, but if I want to go a little bit faster, I push the pedal a little bit harder, and I just sort of go a bit more. Drivability, so much better. Interior on this thing, so good. It's just, God, is it good. And Hyundai's been getting better and better about it every time. And you'll see this in my review when it goes live, but it's like the number one thing I say about the Santa Fe is every time I get in it, no matter how many other things I've driven since then, it always amazes me how much it doesn't suck. The interior's just nice. The suspension, which is usually a sore spot for me on Hyundais, is great. It's comfortable enough that you're not going to get upset with it. You're not going to make everyone uncomfortable, but it's still stiff enough that you're not going to make everybody sick when you're driving down a mountain road. And pricing is great. This one was a little pricey. It was $33,000, which is $3,000 more than the Subaru Outback that I had last week. But my Outback did not have navigation. The Outback did not have leather. The Outback didn't have a lot of power equipment on it. It had the power rear gate and all that stuff, but the power seats, there weren't as many adjustments and stuff like that. And this has all of that. Also, there were no safety features. My Outback didn't have the eyesight system. I had no blind spot monitoring. I had no adaptive cruise. I had nothing. Santa Fe
you had
for
a CVT.
Yeah, the Santa Fe for $3,000 more, a real 6-speed automatic, Leather seats all the way around, heated and cooled seats in the front. I had manual sunshades on the side, have the world's biggest sunroof, navigation, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, like all of that crap for $3,000 more. And if you want to, you can just drop the safety systems and keep like the leather and the navigation and be at the same $30,000 price tag as the Outback. Now you don't have all-wheel drive. This one was a front-wheel drive model, and the fuel economy was not quite as good. The Outback turned in 30. Santa Fe was giving me about 27.5. So there is that trade-off. But I guarantee you, for most people, having all that equipment and all that luxury, way better deal. Plus, it wasn't falling apart.
Well, that's true. I've got to second that too. I think that Hyundai has just outdone themselves on improving their interiors over the last 5 years. The last Santa Fe I was in was a year ago, and the car, it was fantastic. It was well built, it designed well, no squeaks or rattles or anything like that. The materials felt really well. So I mean, yeah, I would agree with you. I think that Hyundai's got a really great product, especially on the inside.
I do, and it's like that's all I kept thinking was like I have to go somewhere, and I go, ugh, the Golf is gone. I've got to take the crossover, and I get it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is totally fine. This is just 100% totally fine, and it's one of those great 7.5 to 8 out of 10 cars. And what I mean by that is like everything it does. And again, this is my biggest problem with a crossover, is crossovers are usually so compromised that they're only like a 6. Like if you're like, how good is it to drive? It's like a 6 out of 10. What's the fuel economy? It's like a 6 out of 10. How is the ease of entry and exit for the third row? It's like a 6 out of 10. Right, you get something like a minivan usually isn't that great to drive, it isn't that great on fuel, but it's super great on the space and the people holding and that sort of stuff. But this is like a good 7.5 out of 10. Like everything is 7.5 out of 10. There is no third row, but the back doors open up really wide and they come like almost directly perpendicular out from the car. So there's plenty of space to get in. The back seats slide and they recline, so you can adjust space. If you have a child seat and you want to slide it forward so you can reach the child easier, you can do that. If you need more cargo space, you can slide up. If you have adults who want to be in there and relax and comfortable, they can slide back and they can lean the seat back a little bit. It gets all that stuff right. Again, it's got 190 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's more than you get from the standard 4-bangers from like the Chevy Equinox or the Toyota Venza. And it feels quick enough. I was timing like an 8.5 second 0 to 60. So not quick, but not slow. Again, I was getting 27 miles to the gallon, 28 miles to the gallon, so fairly fuel efficient for being a car that big. Like everything is just good. Yeah. Nothing is super bad or annoying.
And that car will tow like 3,000 pounds, won't
it? No, that's a Santa Fe.
Oh, okay.
The 3-row, and that's like a 5,000 pounds, I think, standard on all of them. This was the 2-row Sport.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've heard the press information, but yeah, I've been impressed with Hyundai stuff. So
yeah, I really enjoyed it, and in fact, I actually think I'm gonna try to convince one of my neighbors to buy one. She's been hassling me about a good crossover to buy, and I keep telling her to buy a wagon because she doesn't have kids, but she wants an SUV to haul things, and I'm like, just get a wagon, but she won't do it. And I was looking at prices on these things, and they're actually really cheap on dealer lots right now. So the base price for a standard model is $25,500. They have them. There's I think 9 of them at my local dealer for $21,600.
Wow,
So,
that's not too bad. That's really good, actually.
Yeah. So you don't get the leather, you get cloth, and you don't get some of the nicer equipment like the navigation, but you still get the nice interior, you still get the great drive, you still get all the space and the practicality. $21,000.
It's kind of hard to hear you saying that a crossover is not that bad, but a Hyundai crossover is not that bad.
Right, and again, I keep going back to that stupid Outback. $30,000, no navigation, a tiny sunroof, half of it was broken, right? And it was $30,000. Cloth seats, $30,000. Or yeah. I can go, and actually here in town, it's the same dealer. It's a Grayson dealer. It's Grayson Hyundai Subaru. So at the same dealer, I can save $9,000 and get a car with slightly more space that's better to drive, has more horsepower, and it just gets slightly less on the fuel economy. But $9,000 buys a lot of gas.
A lot.
Yeah, that gets you through the whole lifetime in that thing, probably.
So I'm just like, wow. All right, anyways, let's move on because Mark got to drive a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, I'll come with two
we,
seats.
we spent forever talking about boring crap, and we have Mark over here with like a trio of badassness.
Yeah, so I've kind of been lucky in the last couple weeks. I've gotten to drive a lot of cool stuff. So Jeep sent me the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, or I wish the Unlimited Sahara model. I can't even think straight right now. So I had that for a week, and during that time, Toyota sent me on a quick loan the 4Runner TRD Pro, which is awesome. And I kind of got to compare them side by side, and the story's coming either today or, well, I'm going to get it done today. It's probably be next week before it goes live. But I have to say that 4Runner TRD Pro that's really special. I've gotten to spend some time in the regular 4Runner, like the Trail Edition, and on which the TRD Pro is based. And I really liked it. It felt really good. It was competent on-road. It was really good off-road. It was just a solid body-on-frame SUV with tons of space. But then the TRD Pro takes that up like 10 notches. And all the stuff that
I like this one because it goes to 11.
Yes. This one doesn't come with party mode, though. But anyway, all the good stuff that the 4Runner has, this doesn't touch. This just helps the off-road aspect of it, but really it doesn't hurt the on-road either. Like, just comparing my notes with what I had with the regular 4Runner and then this, they're both fairly the same on-road. Like, I didn't feel like this was too top-heavy, or it didn't scrub rubber going through turns or anything like that. So the TRD Pro really doesn't hurt its on-road streetability, which is fantastic.
What kind of tires were on it?
Nitto Terra Grapplers, actually.
How big?
32-inch, I think.
See, that's my biggest problem with all these off-road machines, is the terrible drone those tires like that make on the highway.
This wasn't
so
bad.
Unbearable.
Okay, so these are probably the most aggressive factory tires you can buy short of a Jeep Rubicon. They're pretty intense. I mean, they are literally an all-terrain tire that has been, making really great strides in the aftermarket, like replacement tire category, and this is kind of one of the first times it's been on a traditional or like a OEM style car, and they really do well. They're not loud. If you even have the radio on like level 1 or 2, you're not going to hear it. If you turn the radio off, windows up, and on the highway, you can hear it just a little bit. But if you're listening to the radio at all, even with the windows down,
okay, so the interior sound dampening is really good on that thing.
It is really good. It is really good.
I said, that's just normally noises don't bother me, but like if I can roll down the window and I can still hear over the sound of the wind rushing into the cabin.
See, that's the thing. If you roll the window down, you actually hear less of the tire drone because you hear more wind noise than you do tire drone.
Right. So I've been in some off-road machines that, I'm like, okay, the tire drone is too loud, so I roll down the window, and I'm like, it just got worse! How does that happen?
Yeah, no, this is totally not the case. So in comparison with the Jeep, okay, so we all know how Jeep is, right? It's a real off-road machine. Like, that's its purpose. And I'm going to reveal this too in my review. I have a special place for Jeep in my heart. But I have to say, I think the 4Runner really does it better. It's better off-road, obviously, because it's the TRD Pro. If I had the Jeep Rubicon, it might not be the case. But off-road, the 4Runner's got it. On-road, the 4Runner has it too. It just feels more planted and more stable. The Jeep has 2 solid axles, front and rear, whereas the 4Runner has a 5-link axle in the back and independent front suspension. So, I mean, the 4Runner has it on the road too. Interior equipment, 4Runner all the way. It's got the lights or the Toyota Intune infotainment system or whatever like that. Interior was really nicely equipped, whereas the Jeep had this old Uconnect 3.0 infotainment system that sucks. Oh, Jeep, please get that out of your equipment. Please stop building that. It's 2014. Stop.
Well, I think that thing came out when I was selling Dodge vehicles back in like 2006.
It's so terrible. It's so terrible. And the interior is not nearly as nice. Yes, it's a Jeep, and you can hose it out and stuff like that, but comparatively, side by side, the 4Runner's got it beat. Now, of course, the Jeep is really fun because you can take the top off, which I did. You can take the doors off, which I did. And you can blast around town and have a great time in it, and it's really, really, really fun. And you can just pull that four-wheel drive lever back into 4 high and go pretty much anywhere you want to go. So, I mean, yeah, the Jeep is really cool, the 4Runner is really cool, but if I was going to buy one of the two, it would be the 4Runner.
What's the price difference between the two?
Not a whole lot. So the Jeep, here's my sticker price, $40,200 for the Sahara edition. And this does have some options too. It's got the leather trim seats, $3,100. The 5-speed automatic, which is $1,200. The Freedom top, which is the hard top with body color, $1,700. Here's the kicker, right? This wonderful Uconnect system. It's a 730N, and it's got a 20 gig hard drive and all that crap. Sirius XM satellite radio. $1,800. $1,800 for something that looks like 10 years old out of the box.
Okay, but what was the price on the TRD?
TRD base price comes in at $41,900.
Okay, now, what if we skipped the four-door version of the Jeep and went to a soft top? Because my Wrangler Rubicon, which I pulled the sticker out here, was $38,480.
Yes, yours is the Rubicon, which is the better version, but it is
and it was the Rubicon
standard.
X with all the extra options.
Well, that's very true. That's very true. But it's not the unlimited, so it's the two-door version. The soft top would save you the $1,200 or the $1,700. Did you have the base soft top or did you have the Sunrider?
I'll have to tell you. I think it was the base one. Yeah, I don't see anything about Sunrider.
Yeah, the Sunrider top will actually disconnect from the front and let you slide it back like a sunroof. It just folds back and latches.
Oh, yeah, no, I did have that then. I just didn't see it on the option list.
It's probably standard
under the
feature.
front flaps, and there was a second clasp here, and it would just flop back and you'd strap it down.
Yeah, the base thing doesn't do that, I don't think. But yeah, I mean it's pretty comparable. Yes, the Sahara has a bunch of options and stuff and comes in at $40,000. The TRD Pro comes in at $41,900 base price. But I feel like you're getting a lot more with the TRD Pro because it already comes with all the option packages of the Trail Plus edition of the 4Runner. So it's kind of like the Rubicon in the sense that you get all the stuff packaged into one deal and you don't have to buy the options.
Right.
So...
But so here it is. I have the premium black Sunrider top.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's just my whole thing is if you skipped the X package, add things like driver's seat height adjustment, seat back pockets, red Trail Raider badges, slush mats, electronic vehicle system, Bluetooth, heated seats, silver interior accents, 17-inch aluminum wheels that you can scar on the track or on the trail.
But you do get the nice steel bumpers that are
Yes, you do get the steel bumpers. The steel bumpers are like the only thing that I would really want to have out of that whole X kit, and that X kit is $4,000.
You could buy a nice steel bumper from AEV for way less than $4,000.
So if we cut the $4,000 off of it, my Rubicon was $34,480 with all my options, including my navigation and my big Uconnect system. So now, would you take Rubicon Jeep or the TRD?
TRD. Because my TRD has 4 doors, and I can lay the back seats down and have a whole lot more room.
I thought you were going to say something besides whole lot more room.
Okay.
I've been thinking about Elon Musk lately, so.
Oh, God.
What a terrible.
Huh?
Give him the D.
Yep. That man loves penis jokes. I'm going to name my cars the sex. The S, the E, and the X. Oh,
he even came out and said that. He's like, because I want to put a banner up that says Tesla sells sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just like the man kills.
And now he's like, I'm bringing the D. he's like a 12-year-old kid. He's like, hey, I own a company. I'm gonna make a penis joke.
It's like I want to see him come outside, like, and do a press release, and you're like, and the Tesla penis, and the Tesla something penis, and the Tesla penis. You know, it's like that's what I kind of expect from the guy. Like, you know,
but
it's getting
he's
him
one of
great
the most
attention.
brilliant minds
Yes,
of this generation. Like,
the man is going to space with his own money.
The man started PayPal. All right, I made all the money in the world. I'm going to sell PayPal, and I'm going to start Tesla. All right, you know what? I'm also going to build freaking spaceships. You know what? I am the only person who has successfully done a private party rocket launch and gotten something to the space station.
When the government contracts to you to go to space, you're big.
When NASA goes, can you give me a hand? Like,
we need to go to space. Can we go on your rocket? Like, I just.
And he's over here making dick jokes. It's the best thing in the whole world. All right, we're going to jump into the news, and Mark has more truck stuff to talk about in the news, but we're going to cover 2 other quick pieces of news before we let Mark do more truck stuff.
Yeah, somebody talk about it for me.
Let's start with some performance numbers. GM just announced. So when they were like, this is our Corvette Z06 and it's going to be really fast. Well, now they've done like testing and they have real fast numbers. And the real fast number is, if you have the automatic transmission in the new Z06, you can get from 0 miles an hour to 60 miles an hour in 2.9 seconds.
2.95. Gotta add that 5 in there.
Still less than 3.
That is insane. Like I look.
But you know what that, like, let's put this into perspective real quick. The Porsche Carrera GT, the $400,000 whatever V10 Porsche, cannot hit 60 miles an hour that quickly.
Yeah, I did some research today. It was like the Ferrari Italia 458, $233,000, 3.4 seconds. Lamborghini Huracan, $200,000, 3 seconds. And they're all the California T. I don't even know how much is 150 or something like that. What's it? 3.5 seconds. I mean, they're all over 3.
Is it the GTR Nismo? Isn't that the only thing that comes close?
Well,
I think it should be. That's like 2.6.
It's the only thing that comes close that's not insane, like the Veyron or the Agera R or something like that.
Well,
you know,
yeah.
McLaren P1, the Porsche 918. Like, once you are out of the realm of $1 million supercars, yeah, it's like the Z06 and the GTR, and that's it. Now, you don't have to have the Nismo. The normal GTR will do a 2.9 second blast or like a 3 second blast. It's like right in that range.
Okay.
But the Nismo is like, like 2.6 seconds or some shit. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
mean, this is
it's
ridiculous to think that an American Z06 that costs $73,000 or something like that. I don't have the price
85, isn't it?
85 is the convertible. 78,995.
Oh, okay.
Is just not obliterate, but can basically smoke a Ferrari 458.
But it gets better, because we just got some Hellcat numbers, and guess what else will do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds? The damn Hellcat.
2.9.
So now we have, if you get out of the realm of $1 million supercars, the only machine that'll get this quickly is the mighty Nissan GTR Nismo. Oh yeah, also this Hellcat muscle car and our Corvette.
Yeah, we're still American cars.
I just feel like we need to I need to have like a
$70,000.
montage. I need to have a montage of like Chuck Norris waving the American flag, shooting off like a BAR in his arm, and just you know, like
no.
America.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds awesome.
A BAR?
Yes.
Browning
automatic rifle. It's a machine gun.
Right, but wasn't it a British-created rifle?
Browning is he's an American.
Oh, I thought it was a British rifle. Okay, then carry on.
America.
I did. I thought the Browning rifle was a British creation.
Nope.
And we also have 1.2 Gs it holds. That's not bad. Anything over
Not
1 G is
bad.
pretty damn good. That's I was being sarcastic.
Wait, 1.8 is that for the Vet or the Hellcat?
1.2. That's for the Vet. 1.2. Anything over 0.93 is great.
The Hellcat will not get more than like 0.4 Gs because
I know.
I like push on the pedal.
Wait a minute. Wait.
That's
not right.
But we also have to remember that 1.2 comes with the Z07 pack, which is the super sticky Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, all the aero downforce crap and everything. Probably the standard Z06 probably closer to the 1, about 1G.
Yeah.
But 1G.
Oh, Holty chimed in and said the 911 Turbo S will break the 3-second mark.
Oh, that's true.
But that's
true.
still
And
$190,000.
that's an expensive
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, you're still
So
double.
double the money. Double the money, yeah.
Triple the money.
And the Corvette no longer looks like a Chevy on the inside. That's
No,
the
it
other
looks
part.
nice.
True.
That's the other part, because that used to be the bad thing about it. Yeah, sure, it could kind of run with these cars, but when you got inside, you're like, yeah, it's not that great. But now it beats these cars, and you get inside, and you feel like you're in a car that almost deserves to be in the same spot.
Yeah.
It's just, God, that's so insane. For both the Hellcat and the Z06. And like, that blows me away almost even more. It's just like, America has done this with the Z06. This is our road-going race car. And then, like, Ralph Gilles just walks over and goes, yeah, the Hellcat will do it too, whatever.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised to see the Hellcat. I was like, the Hellcat really, like, they could actually, like, rein that thing in to do that? Rear-wheel drive,
know, like
7 horsepower?
I figured that what must have happened is when they did the testing, they had, like, 47-inch tires on the back of it.
I was going to say, it's like, there's no
locks in the
way.
trunk.
Now, yeah, they did have drag radials, is what they said. They were drag tires.
Okay.
So that's with drag tires, is my understanding.
But still, like, oh,
Well, okay, so if you remember, they've already released the quarter mile times. Quarter miles with the street tires is like 11.3 or something, and then 10.9 with the drag slicks.
Yeah, so it's about right on par with this. This is this is 10.95 with the 8-speed and 11.2 with the 7-speed. Wow, that's insane. 10 point.
And those are on street tires.
Yeah, that's street tire or Michelin Cup Sport. Those are street
Yeah,
tires.
yeah,
That's wishy-washy. Those have like an 80 treadwear rating.
Yeah.
No, I think they have to have more than 100 to be considered.
Yeah, I think it's like
street
120.
tire. Yeah. So it's not much. Okay, so Holty says Porsche claims a 3.1 second run, but when tested, they'll do them in 2.6 for the 911 Turbo S.
Yeah, America.
My question about that is that 2.6 with rollout or not? Because that is one thing. Like car and driver, their 0 to 60 times are always quicker than everyone else's because they do a 1 foot rollout. So.
Yeah, it's kind of cheating.
Well, but that's how they do it in a lot of drag stuff. In drag testing, it's the 1 foot rollout. But all right. Anyways, so Z06 and Hellcat, super fast. Something special and near and dear to my heart. This thing. This is my GoPro Hero 3. And this is my Hero 3 Plus. And these things are amazing, and I love them, and I want to make babies with them. But they're terrible and ugly. Nobody wants them anymore because they're pure garbage. Because GoPro just announced there's a brand new Hero 4 out. And oh man, is it awesome. So Hero 4, about the same size as this.
That's what she said.
But has twice the processing power. It's supposed to have better battery life. It'll now do 4K video.
Wow.
Yeah, and like at full 30 frames per second. This will do 4K video, but only at 15 frames per second, so it's not any good. New GoPro will do 4K video, and it costs $500, which is $100 more. But if you go price a new 4K camera, you're looking at like well over $1,000, and now you can get one for $500. It comes with a waterproof case that's good for more than 100 feet in depth. And it still has built-in Wi-Fi. They've added Bluetooth now, so you can hook it up to your phone with Bluetooth to control it. These things are amazing, and I can't understand how they cram so much stuff into such a tiny little box.
So here's a question: can you Wi-Fi while you're underwater?
Well, yes, but only a small distance. You can also Bluetooth while you're underwater, but only.
Really, I was actually kidding. I didn't think so.
Yeah. Well, because it's just a radio frequency.
Yeah.
Obviously, your range drops dramatically because the signals have a hard time getting through the water because it's so much thicker than the air. But yeah, it'll work.
Oh wow! I was
Your
actually
Wi-Fi
joking.
case on your phone.
Yeah, well, because I've tested that before. I had my one of my dive buddies, sit up on the surface with my iPhone, and I linked it up, and then I dove down, and I can get like 5 or 6 feet down before we cut out.
Huh.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool. I didn't know that. I was
Yep.
joking. I thought.
things you learn when you're a scuba diver.
But Rob Ball just bought the wrong car.
I'm doing diving this weekend, actually. I hope,
That's good.
if I have enough time. But Hulty is saying lots of things.
Oh, he's
Don't know, but it
actually
beats the Gizmo. Lots of laughing. Add a joke you on the internet, Mark. Oh, add a D joke. You won the internet mark. All right, but yeah, so super cool. They did raise the prices by $100 on the two models.
Totally
So it used
fine.
to
I'll
be
pay it.
so they used to have a silver for 300 and a black for 400. Now it's silver for 400 and a black for 500. But if you get the silver one, it doesn't have 4K filming, but it does have an LCD built into the back now. So you can finally use it like a normal camera without having to hook it up to a cell phone or whatever to use that as a viewfinder. You don't have to pay the extra $80 or $90 to buy the LCD back. So that's super handy that they've built all that in now. And again, it's still the same size, but they put all that crap in it. Like how? There's no room for stuff inside of this thing, and they've put stuff inside of it.
But didn't you say the black one though? Unlike the silver one comes with the LCD, but the black does not.
Right, but
Yeah.
the black one does the 4K.
Okay.
But just look at this. So this is the battery, right? That's half of my camera here is the battery.
That is crazy.
And then somehow they're like, yeah, we've got one that does 4K video now and has an LCD built in the back of it. What
What if they found a way to shrink that battery down to be able to fit everything else in?
No, that's a terrible idea. Because the GoPro battery is pretty terrible to start with.
Well,
You're looking at an
technology,
hour and
No.
this one right here, an hour and 15 minutes is about all you've got on a full charge, and it's
Oh, wow.
fried. Okay, so no shrinking of the battery GoPro ever. If you want to sell me a slightly bigger Hero 4 with twice the battery life, I would take that over the same size Hero 4 with the same battery life. Just saying. That's my only complaint about the GoPros is battery life is terrible.
Yeah, I think it's time for Justin to start saving $500. It's about time I upgrade from my cell phone camera that supposedly shoots in HD, but when you have a scratched up camera lens, you can't do much with. It shoots the scratches very clearly, though.
Yes, there is a very high possibility, TopSpeed.com viewers, that I will have a 4 soon because I am a broken human being that can't stay away from shiny gadgets. So expect a review soon.
I would like to buy your old one.
No, I'm keeping them all.
Oh, you suck at life.
The more GoPros you have, the more camera angles you can get on one run, which means the less time you have to spend filming.
See, here it's the more GoPro cameras I have, the more cameras my wife can say, "Are you going to sell that one yet?"
Yeah.
So well, if you find a GoPro, Justin, and you want to sell it for half price of what I could buy it in the store.
That's one thing I haven't been able to find a good deal on. The last good deal was at $341 I found on eBay.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, it's...
That I missed out on.
These things are like Apple products. They don't go on sale because they're good and everybody wants them. So, all right, so that's that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on. Let's go back to Mark. Mark got to drive the brand new all-aluminum Ford F-150.
Yes, I did. And it was really sweet.
You should talk and hold your brochure back up again so you're big on the screen.
This is me talking so that my brochure is big on the screen. You can see it. There it is. And by the way, that is the new F-150 logo. They changed it, so it's all interesting and different.
Hey, they got rid of the dash.
Yeah, in the logo, but it's still in all the material, yeah.
Well, I think that's because that's their trademark is actually with the dash.
Yeah, it's F1, F-50. So, okay, so when I got there, they had 2014 F-150s for us to drive about, 30 or 40 miles to kind of get a feel of the old product. And I'm glad they did that because I haven't been in one of the newer model F-150s in quite a while. And I have to say, I was impressed. I had the 5-liter. It was nice. It had a lot of pickup. It sounded really good. Most of my
Coyote V8 is so awesome.
Beautiful engine. And it would turn the tires, both of them, without even sneezing on the throttle. The back end just lit up. So it was really, really fun. My biggest complaint about that truck though was the seating position. I had manual seats because I had an XLT, but it was kind of a base model, and I was really low in the cab, and the pillar or the belt line was really high, and I felt like I just couldn't get comfortable. And the rest of the truck was okay. It had tons of room. It was really it was fun to drive, but it did drive a little big. So the next day, we had a chance to drive the new ones. And I have to say, they have done some vast, vast improvements. It drives so much smaller. Like, even though it is technically about an inch wider, it drives so much smaller. Like, you feel like it's not maybe a quarter of the size. The belt lines have shrunk. The seating position is raised. All new electric steering, and of course that all new 2.7 liter EcoBoost, which is, I was so surprised at that. Right. So like you think a 2.7 liter, like I can get a Camry with a 3.5 liter V6, and that's like there's tons of jokes to be made about that, but really the 3.7 was really surprising. I was able to tow like 7,000 pounds with it, and it did not feel slow or sluggish at all, even with four-wheel drive crew cab models. 0 to 60 times were really respectable, and it's only a $400 option on the base truck.
Really? Only $400?
It's only like a $400 option. So yeah, the
Why the hell
2.7.
did they even make it an option?
I don't even know why they have the base 3.6. I really don't.
Actually, I know why they do, because there are a lot of people out there. I ain't gonna have that damn turbo witchcraft in my truck.
Well, then if those people who have that accent will be buying the Audi V8.
Well, okay. Well, there's just older people then who don't necessarily have that accent, who still feel the same way. They would prefer a standard to the turbo.
Yeah. So, okay, listen to this: 325 horsepower, 375 pounds-feet of torque out of a 2.7 liter six-cylinder.
2.7 or 3.7?
2.7.
2.7.
New engine, 2.7.
Because you said 3.7 a minute ago.
Yeah, sorry, 2.7. 2,200 pounds payload, 8,500 pounds towing. I'm just blown away by that.
2,200 in the bed is impressive.
That's
Yeah.
really
Really impressive. I mean, this is a one-ton truck in all intents and purposes, because it can tow or haul a ton in the bed. And, I mean, it was really fantastic. We did get to drag race the truck some, too. And I have to say, I was so impressed with the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, the one that's been around for a while. Holy crap. Not even kidding. If you put it in four-wheel drive high with the traction control off, that thing will launch. Seriously. It'll throw you back in the seat. It's so surprising for a V6. Twin turbo, of course, like that. 365 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque out of that engine. And, so good stuff with that. Of course.
I thought it was really cool that Ford gave you a crack at the old one first. I think that's actually a really good idea, because so many places don't do that with these press drives. They're like, hey, here's the new one, but don't look at the old one.
Yeah, so I had all intentions to go to a dealership before I went on this trip, but every day after work, it was like torrential downpour raining, and I'm like, they're not going to let me drive a truck in the rain like this, and I'm not even going to go out there and waste my time or their time, so I just didn't do it, and I figured, well, I'll drive one later. But no, they had one there. It was really, I really appreciated having the old product to test before. And interior ergonomics, they're fantastic. This truck has a lot of interior tech, a lot of features like blind spots, all the electronic safety wizardry that a lot of people don't like, but a lot of people do like. And
By that he means it's the stuff that Mo hates and everybody else seems to enjoy.
Yes, like the thing that's on your head.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a sticker that came attached to this cool thing I just got.
Why are you interrupting me? Stop it.
Ask me what it was.
Stop it. No, it was really awesome. So I enjoyed my time there, and I learned a lot, and you'll see it all in the review that I post later.
It's probably late next week, I'd say.
No, early next week.
Oh, okay.
Because late next week is crazy for me as well.
Oh, yeah. All right, then. So, yes, F-150 news coming soon. Mr. Mark driving the big F-150. Let's go ahead and let's talk Paris. So Paris is going on right now. And there is a lot of fun stuff happening at the Paris Motor Show. And we're going to start with what most people are seeing as kind of the biggest news there. The Audi TT Sportback. in just everyone's face.
You went out of order.
I did. Well, and that's not the biggest news at all.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say.
Lamborghini is now selling a Porsche 918. They're calling it the Asterion.
Well, they're not selling it. It's
a concept.
Technological development concept, or demonstrator concept.
It's a car I don't think they should make. So it is a car with a V10 and some batteries and 3 electric motors and just about 900 horsepower. And it previews an entirely new design direction for Lamborghini. And it's very different from any machine they've ever made for a lot of reasons.
And everything you just said is every reason why I like it.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't like this car. Why do you not want them to build it? I don't understand.
Well, okay, they have said in the press release, this is not a supercar. This is not a performance car. This is a high-speed cruiser. It's a big GT car. Why in the hell would I ever pay what is going to be close to $1 million for a 900 horsepower Lamborghini that is not a sports car?
Same reason anybody would pay that much money for a Porsche 918.
Or a LaFerrari.
Except the 918 is a sports car, and the McLaren P1 is a sports car, and the LaFerrari is a sports car. Those are made to go fast around a racetrack. This is made to go fast down the highway. They say it's their most luxurious car ever. It's the most comfortable car they've ever made. That's what it's designed to be. I don't want that in a 900 horsepower Lamborghini.
Well, I think
to shoot flames and have rockets.
I think what you're hearing from Lamborghini is a lot of lip service. They're just saying that it's still going to be a competent handler. I don't think it's going to handle any worse than a 918. I wouldn't be at all surprised if half the damn things in this are based off the 918.
No, it is.
Yeah.
All of the things that make it work is 918.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if the chassis is almost. I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is a 918 with a Lambo body slapped on top of it. With how quickly they put this thing together, with nobody knowing about it, that also leads to maybe this is just a 918 with a Lamborghini body thrown on top of it. Because they literally threw this thing together like that. Nobody knew it was coming. Nobody knew until, like, was it 2 weeks ago?
Well, but nobody ever knows about their super ridiculous concepts. Like nobody knew the Veneno was coming. Nobody knew the whatever the other one that they made that was like the Veneno but super crazy. All these little like one-off ones. Nobody ever sees those coming from Lambo.
But anyway, I think this is awesome. I think it's a great direction for Lamborghini. I think it's going to give them the opportunity to show off what they can really do when they put together all the technology that they don't have, like hybridization. I think it's a really great idea. I mean, it's showing off what they're capable of.
Except it's not showing off what they're capable of. It's showing off what Porsche is capable of.
Well, I'm sure that, like I said, this is a technology demonstrator. There's probably going to be plenty of Lamborghini stuff in here once this makes it to production, if it ever does make it to production. That still we don't know, because it is still just a demonstrator. It could get completely awful reviews, and Lamborghini says, F it, we're not going to do it. It was just a concept, sorry guys, and walk away. Yeah. That's why they title these things this way, technical demonstrator, concept, so they can walk away from it if it gets horrible reviews. So will it make it in this form? Probably not, because a vast majority of Lamborghini fans and Lamborghini faithful are going to beat the living crap out of it.
Right. Even Holty chimed in. He says it's ugly and it's not exciting or outrageous enough to have a Lambo badge.
No, it's not. And I said that in a piece I wrote was, it's everything Lamborghini is not. When I walk up to a Lamborghini, I expect that thing to be aggressive. I expect it to be scary when I walk up to it. That doesn't scare me when I walk up to it.
Well, I have to say, I don't think I've ever heard a bad Lamborghini V10 rev. And could you imagine that craziness in a GT car? I like the idea of a GT car, and I think this would be fantastic. Sure, it's not an Aventador or a Huracan but I think this would be a great expansion to their lineup. Praise God, it's not an SUV, but It is a GT car. This is an acceptable form that Lamborghini can go without killing its name, and you could take it places. You're not going to bottom out. Does it have all-wheel drive?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. But that's the thing, though. I would rather see Lambo do an SUV, because again, that's ridiculous. I don't ever want to see Lamborghini build a reasonable car.
Well, just like you didn't want Porsche to build a reasonable car. Now we have the Panamera.
And you know what? That
Yes.
Panamera supports, or no, I'm sorry, the Cayman. That's what I was shooting for. It supports a lot of the good, crazy stuff that Porsche can afford to
It
build.
does. That provides the amount of money to build crazy 911s. But this is going to be the most expensive model. That would be like if Porsche, when they were going to come out with the Panamera, they actually came out with a Panamera with the 918 drivetrain in it, and they charged $1 million for it, and that was going to be their new volume car. Like, no, because that's not how that works. I guess it just blows my mind that you have a company that owns Audi, that owns Porsche, and that owns Lamborghini, and Porsche has the super sports car, and Lamborghini is making the luxury cruiser. Shit's backwards.
I'll give you that one. That is very
Yeah,
true.
that does make sense.
Right? Like that's the thing. This is all a Volkswagen company thing. Why did they not do it the other way? And then this brings me to another thing, which isn't Paris, but it appears that Lamborghini has gotten the green light to make an R10 supercar with almost 1,000 horsepower.
Audi's gotten.
Sorry, Audi has gotten the thing to make an R10, a step above the R8 supercar with almost 1,000 horsepower, which says this is going to be the exact same car that's already the 918, that is already the Asterion with an Audi badge on it.
Yep.
Which then I go, why did we need this Lamborghini at all when Audi can have the comfortable cruiser and they can give the Lamborghini 1,200 horsepower and a V12 instead of a V10 and make it to where it doesn't have a top at all. It's a constant convertible and there's like wings that pop out the side because hell, why not? It's a Lamborghini.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Audi version of this being the comfortable cruiser, but I have to say, like, I can't imagine this body design being on the Audi. I think the way it looks, and I like it, looks better with that aggressive Lamborghini front. I don't see the Audi hooped grille fitting on this chassis.
I don't think that's an aggressive front nose. I think it looks like the old Urus SUV that they made a concept of. It just sort of.
Yeah,
I think it
kinda
looks
saw
like
that too.
I think it looks like a Huracan that had one too many Big Macs.
No. It looks like a Huracan that someone kicked in the nose and bumped the front end up like 9 inches. Because all Lamborghinis, like, they have that wedge. They come down to a point. This one, like, comes to a point there and then, like, slopes back down to the ground. It's weird. And the proportions are just off, and I don't like the back end. And it's
I love those tail lights. Look at that. Look
Yeah,
at
the
those
taillights are awesome. I think it's a great interpretation of
the tail light, the actual lights themselves look good. The housing they're in, the actual back end they're mounted in, that whole shape, I don't like. But
Well, you're just too hard to
the
please.
actual light assembly is beautiful. I will give you that. That's a nice shape. But the rest of the car, it's just not Lamborghini enough. Especially right after we just got the Huracan. But, like, look at this super crazy, ridiculous thing that we built that goes obnoxiously fast and looks like $1 million fighter jet. By the way, here's our comfortable luxury hybrid.
Well, here's where I'll leave it. I'm glad that Lamborghini did not do what so many other car manufacturers do. Say, here comes something big. It's a special edition of something we already have.
Yeah.
And maybe
Thankfully.
that's why I like
true.
this so much. That might be the reason I liked it so much, because I was expecting the worst. I was expecting kicking the balls.
I know, and I again, if you listen to last week's show, I totally called it. I'm like, it needs to be just like a topless Huracan, and they're like, what? We think this is really a big goal, and just right, that's not Lambo enough for me. I've driven one of these supermodel. That's what a Lambo is. It's not a hybrid luxury. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm heading. Let's start on our list for Hello? Here? Mark?
I
Justin?
think we're losing.
Yeah, you guys are. I'm here,
Oh.
but you're really choppy.
Uh-oh. We are experiencing
Chris,
technical
we're-
difficulties.
I'm here.
I think we're better.
Yeah, I'm here, and I can.
Are we better?
Justin,
That's a little better. Yeah,
you brought
I did what?
I'm here.
I'm here too.
I
Yeah.
said you brought the technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah. That's all my
Yeah,
fault.
because I wasn't having trouble out of Marcus.
You're
I was having
being
trouble out
pretty
of you.
That's all my fault.
Okay, are we good? Are we good? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen watching and listening. Sorry,
That's
sorry,
it.
Holty.
The screen's a little delayed, but at least the voice is there.
Okay, good, good. All right, we're catching back up. There was a slight hitch, but we're fixed, probably.
Just give it the D. Come on, let's go.
Just give it.
There's Lamborghini getting mad.
That's right. They're cutting off. Well, build a better car, Lambo.
Because they
Don't
only
just steal
interrupts.
Porsche technology. Anyways, let's talk about the Nissan Pulsar Nismo.
Yeah.
So Nissan has a little concept they came out with. So it's their new little Pulsar hatchback thing. And because we all love hot hatches, and because Nissan is Nissan, they went, what would happen if we took that weird little Pulsar thing and made it look awesome and made it go fast? And they
They would
said,
kill a whole bunch of them.
I don't know, let's build it.
It
So,
kind of looks like a Scion XA to me.
Huh? Are you
What?
nuts? You're insane.
It looks nothing like that in any way.
This thing looks like the sexiest hatchback I've seen.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
I think it's one of the
Pretty
best I've
beautiful.
seen in a long time.
So they've done the same things they've done to some of their other Nismo cars, like the Juke Nismo and stuff like that. So it's got a cool, aggressive body kit that makes it look like the bottom end is from a GTR. Lots of red bits. It's got this beautiful, like, matte silver metallic paint on it. Awesome, huge, massive wheels. And Nissan, or so we don't. There's not like this is what we're gonna make. This is just a concept. But talk is a 1.8 liter turbocharged engine, 250-ish horsepower. So we're talking like Ford Focus ST levels of performance, and it does look better than the ST.
Yes.
The seats on the inside of this thing, which the Nismo cars, like Nissan does really good on Nismo seats. They're huge, highly aggressive bolstered buckets with lots of suede and stuff on them. These seats are black and red, and they just look like $1 million. And there's nothing about this that sounds like a bad idea. Nothing.
No, and you guys know I'm a pretty huge Pulsar guy because I had the old school Pulsar from the U.S. side. Just the name alone makes me go, oh, I want to see it. I want to have it. And this, I mean, I hope they can find some way, maybe bring it over here, but
Yeah.
very unlikely. But oh, it's so nice, and it'd be nice to finally see something performance that doesn't have the GTR label from Nissan.
Oh man, and they did my favorite hot hatch thing, which is when they do the dual center-mounted exhaust.
Yes.
God, I love that.
It looks like they have a little red inside the exhaust tip from what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
It looks like a red glow.
It does almost look like that, like they've painted the inside. Oh yeah. So if you zoom in on the photo we have on the website, it looks like the metal exhaust has been anodized on the inside in red.
Yeah. Oh, that is just.
God, it's so good.
Which will very quickly get covered up with the carbon.
But it looks great for about 5,000 miles.
Well, and you know what? All you have to do is run your finger in there when the car's cool, clean it out.
Yeah, don't do it while the thing's hot.
Don't do it. If you do it while it's hot, you deserve what you have coming.
You know, I have done that once. I'm not going to comment on how I did it, but I did do that once.
So Pulsar Nismo, a small Nissan hatchback with 250 to 300 horsepower that looks like $1 million.
Awesome.
Build it and bring it to me, Nissan, please. All right. Next cool, crazy thing. Volkswagen showed up. So you guys know their little XL1 super hybrid does 1 million miles to the gallon. They showed up with another one of those called the XL Sport. And everyone went, ha, 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 Sport what? And then they went, by the way, it's got a Ducati motor. And everyone shut up. So if you haven't seen the XL Sport, it is the Volkswagen XL thing with kind of a body kit thing on it. And the 1.2 liter, so 1200 cc V-twin engine from the Ducati 1199 Panigale. So it's a 190 horsepower engine, which is not a lot, but Volkswagen says this thing will do 160 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, this thing weighs next to nothing from what I remember.
Yeah, it's like 1,200 pounds or something.
Something ridiculously low. I really like what they do with the body. Okay, they took the XL, which when I first saw that XL1 body, I'm like, man, they got so much potential, but they really just made it look so hybridy. The wheel skirts and the arrow was just not right. They took this and they have the big air inlets on the back end. The wheel, the little covers over the wheels are gone. So it really
They put a big
looks
spoiler on it.
Yeah, big spoiler. It looks a whole hell of a lot sportier than the XL1 did, and shows off the potential of that body.
Right. It'll do the 0 to 60 run. They're saying is like right under 6 seconds, and then it'll do 160 miles an hour. And of course it's got those super awesome gull wing door things that open up.
Yeah, it totally looks like a
The future.
DeLorean. Yeah, it looks like something out of Bruce Willis's Fifth Element.
Yes,
Almost,
exactly.
except it doesn't fly, which is a great movie though, by the way. I
Yes,
love
very
The Fifth
good movie.
Element.
Yes.
Lilo Dallas Multipass. If you like The Fifth Element, there's a company called Prop Shop or Prop Store in the UK that's having a huge auction right now, and a bunch of movie props from that thing are on sale. The weird alien guys, there's a whole alien costume with his gun for sale right now.
Awesome.
Something like $12,000 or $13,000.
Because you would know that.
Because I would. Shut up, homie. All right,
I'm
let's
just
talk.
picturing this thing coming flying past you at like 90 miles an hour, like a motorcycle engine.
Well, a Ducati engine, so I doubt it'll use the same dry clutch system because they'll put real transmission and stuff like that in it.
Yeah.
But it'd be great if it made that same clackety noise that a Ducati makes with that dry clutch noise, because nothing else in the world sounds like that. And you're like, I think I hear a Ducati, and this little blue thing goes whoosh. What happened? All right, so we're going to try and move quickly through the next two little bits of news. Audi TT Sportback is a ridiculous four-door coupe thing that makes me angry, and I don't want Audi to build it.
So
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with their idea of that. When they said, like, oh, we're going to build more versions of the TT, it's going to be an SUV, it's going to be a wagon, it's going to be a sport coupe thing. I'm like, huh? But I mean, it makes sense.
Why can't it just be
like,
a TT, and then a faster
yeah.
TT, and then an even faster TT?
Yeah, I like the TT so much, and this just completely ruins all the fun. 4 doors does not work on a TT. A Sportback does not work on a TT. And that the muffler, the insert for the mufflers, looks like it belongs on like a Ford. It looks looks
I just when someone's like, we want to make more models of a car, I say, don't look at Mini because they do it wrong.
Yeah.
Look at Porsche. There are like 14 different models of the 911. And they're all just slightly faster versions or topless versions.
Yeah.
Like that's all you need. Make this car, and then make a faster one and a faster one and a faster one, and then make that car topless, and make the faster versions of that topless. And there you got 8 models.
Yeah.
Done!
And people will buy them.
Yes, they will.
And this is just no, we don't need 4 doors on a TT.
All right, well, last piece of news from Paris we're going to cover on this show is the Infiniti Q80. It is a big Infiniti. It's supposed to be a big luxury sedan. The idea is it's going to be a competitor for like the 7 Series or the S Class, that sort of range of large luxury car from Infiniti. We just have the concept. Does look pretty good. Apparently it will be making it to production very soon, part of an initial massive onslaught of new cars coming from the company, and I think it previews a lot of good things to come.
Yeah, I think the drivetrain. Our article has an error in it, but I think the drivetrain is supposed to preview an upcoming hybrid drivetrain. It's like 550 horsepower, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, and on that topic, just so everybody knows, we're having some glitches on the site. So if you see a whole bunch of funky articles that aren't updated from Paris, yeah, that's a site issue, by the way.
That's good now.
We're
Yeah.
working on it.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, but yeah.
Is the Russian dating ad glitch too, or is that?
Anastasia date sent me to Gumball. You shut your face.
This is an Anastasia date.
All right. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Questions and answers. So, Hulty, who's joined us in the live chat, asked last week. Awesome podcast as usual. Paris Motor Show's close. What are your thoughts on this matter? What is the car concept you're most excited about? Well, we spent the whole time talking about Paris, so I think that probably got covered.
Answer question.
Yes.
Yep.
Question answered, I should say.
All right. Matt Lake wanted to ask, Motor Trend just did the best driver's car comparison. From all the cars they picked, what would be your winner? For him, it is the 4C. The list of cars they had this year: Alfa Romeo 4C, BMW i8, BMW M4, Camaro Z28, Ford Fiesta ST, Jag F-Type R Coupe, Nissan GTR Nismo, Porsche 911 Turbo S, Subaru STI, and the Volkswagen GTI. They picked the Camaro Z28 to be their winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. I have like 3 cars I can go with. Some of them I immediately dismiss, but the 4C, the M4, the Z28, and the F-Type R, those ones I can't. It's so hard to decide, but I'm gonna have to go with the Z28 just because I don't think it's gonna be around much longer, and it just needs to win. It's awesome. VA grumble, the track package on the suspension, everything is just. It's a perfect American muscle car, just perfect. A big, heavy, powerful thing that can actually handle on the track.
Yeah, and I will say, if you guys didn't read the piece or whatever, the way they decided that is they did some track testing, but really it was how good does it feel to drive, not necessarily the fastest. So the Porsche 911 Turbo has won the last 2 years, but this time they thought the Camaro was better on the street than the Porsche was, and it was also really good on the track, so that's why they picked it. So that was their thought process behind it, if you're wondering why they picked it.
Well, that's kind of weird to hear the Z28 was better on the street than a 911, because I always figured, I haven't driven one, of course, I've always figured the Z28 would just be a bear to drive on the street.
Yeah.
Well, that was what they said. Like they have it's like a 35-minute video of the whole thing of driving all these cars.
It's an hour.
Oh, is it an hour?
I have yet to watch it because I want to.
Watch the whole thing.
I haven't been able to set aside an entire hour to watch the video.
It's worth watching. Because they're Motor Trend and they have the power, they shut down an entire section of highway in California to do their private road testing, so they can bomb down this highway as fast as possible. And there's a hump in one of the roads, and there's all these great shots of they go in this dip and they come out up, like all four wheels off, or at least the back end, across this bump, and they're driving like, wah, wah, wah.
It must be nice to have the power to do that. Just,
Right.
Hey, California Highway Patrol, we're gonna shut down this stretch of highway, okay? Is that cool with you? Thanks.
Well, yeah, and the Highway Patrol shows up to shut it down for you.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, Mark, your choice would be?
You know, I like the Z28. I've read so much about that compared to the Z01 because I know people who have the Z01. I think I would pick the Z01 over the Z28 for a lot of reasons, but I would have to say I think the 4C would be just an amazing little car that is so fun and tossable because it weighs nothing and it's got decent power. I think the 4C would be a really fun driver's car, and I think that because it's so natural, like natural steering, natural brakes, it doesn't. It would have to be a very personal relationship with that car. Like. You feel everything. I imagine that would be a really good driver's car.
Okay, they didn't pick it because they said it was too twitchy.
Well, yeah, but
Well, but you get to that point where if a car is too twitchy, you don't feel safe doing quick things in it. So my thought is, and I hate it because there's so many cars I've not driven or been in. I've not driven or been in a 4C, an i8, the F-Type R, the Z28, or technically I've not been in the GTR Nismo, but I've been in GTRs. I have been in and or driven the M4, the Fiesta ST, the GTR, a 911, a Subaru STI, and a GTI. And all those are fantastic cars. And I have a really hard time believing that the Z28 is that much better than 911 Turbo S. I have a really hard time believing that. And it might just be my German fandom in me because everything that's German, like I've never driven a bad German car. I would pick the 911 Turbo S.
Yeah, I mean my thing is like
I do want to say I think the bad Germans are out there. They probably are. I've just not driven them.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is like you look at the 911 and like that is a proper luxury car too, because I mean it's got great interior, it feels awesome, it's put together well. The Z28 is a base model Camaro with a lot of go-fast bits, and you get the base interior. Like you have to pay money for a stereo and air conditioning.
You don't even get the base interior. You get less than the base interior.
Yeah, no air conditioning, no radio.
Yeah, I went to go look at a Z28 at the dealership, and it is nuts. Like there is no padding or carpet in the trunk. It is metal. It is the body, and you can see everything.
Although I do have to say, if I was going to pick a 911, I wouldn't get the Turbo S. I would get a Carrera S or a Carrera 4S.
I would get the Targa. I think the Targas are amazing. They're beautiful.
No, see, I don't like the roof panel.
I think it's cool.
If I don't want a roof, I'm just going to get the convertible.
Targa. Best of both worlds.
No.
You're wrong.
I disagree.
Anyway,
I can't be wrong.
You're wrong.
I can't be wrong. I hold the power of the podcast. I cannot be wrong.
Okay, girls, let's stop.
All right, more questions. Witty Derek. Considering the constant safety emissions regulations changes, what brands do you think will leave the U.S. in the next 5 to 10 years? Lotus seems to be in trouble already. And what new brands are you hoping to see enter the U.S. market? I guess I can go first. And as sad as it seems, I really worry that Aston Martin won't be an American brand soon.
Yeah.
You know, they're already having some issues. They're already having to do stop sales on some of their cars. And now, granted, if Mercedes buys them, like the rumor is, and they have this massive influx of cash that they can adjust everything and make new models, then that might change. But currently, right now, with the company as it stands, I worry that it'll be gone in 10 years.
Yeah, that's about the same route I was going. I was going to say Aston Martin, but Lotus, just to go separate from you, Lotus is pretty much a foot in the coffin. They say the car's going to be back in 2016, but what they say and what they do can be two different things because, number one, they don't have a huge company behind them. They have Proton. Well, Proton's not necessarily a massive conglomerate of automotive success. It's a company that owns one brand that doesn't sell well in Asia, and that's it. You know, that's all they have backing them. So Lotus, I think, is the one that we're going to see go next, but I don't think Aston Martin's far behind them without the help of Mercedes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to concur with both of those. I mean, Lotus they don't have one foot in the coffin. They've got a straw sticking out of the coffin where they're breathing, and it's like, okay, I'm dead now. And it's like Lotus is so dead. Same thing with Aston Martin. It's like I just feel like Aston Martin is it's almost like they're so dated. I just don't know how they're going to live. I don't know. There's so many things that I wish manufacturers already in the U.S. would bring that aren't in the U.S. So, like, you know, being a truck guy, like the Volkswagen R-Mark, I think that would be a beautiful truck to have in the U.S., and it would compete very nicely with the Colorado Canyon. And I know that you guys have a ton of Volkswagen products that you'd love to come over, namely hot hatches and stuff like that.
Scirocco! So I want a Scirocco so bad!
Yes. So, I mean, like, you know, and a lot of it has to deal with, sure, sales and stuff, but, like, meeting emissions and meeting crash safety ratings and stuff like that. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah. As for brands I want to see come, there aren't really any brands I'd love to see. I mean, it would be kind of cool to see one of Volkswagen's other companies, like SEAT or something, come over, like Skoda, just because they're weird. Like, when I was in Europe a couple years ago, I spent a week with a Skoda Yeti. Or, sorry, not a Yeti, a Skoda Roomster, which is like the small version of the Yeti. Weird, funky, totally European hatchback thing with this like little 1.4-liter turbo diesel, and it was just the most interesting and fun and sort of cool thing to just flog around. And I love that there are all those sort of obscure and interesting cars that just will never sell here. Just what they are, and I like the quirkiness about it, and I wish that those would come. But there is no brand I think should show up.
Yeah, you know, Ford has a brand, and I think it's in like Latin or South America, and I can't remember the name. It starts with a T, but they're making like this Bronco-like thing.
Yeah.
And
what is that called?
It's like the Terra or
it's
something.
a weird, funky name. I just saw the article not even a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I wish they would bring that because that thing looks awesome. But they never will, ever.
Nope.
No, just no.
Oh, the Troller T4.
Troller, that's what it is.
And that's why they make it, Mark, because they're trolling you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I was riding in the car with the chief engineer for the Ford F-150. And I started bugging him about the Bronco, and I was like, yeah, so you know when Truck Trend did that whole April Fool's joke about the Bronco coming out, I got so excited until I saw the interior, and I'm like, that's a Super Duty, that's not real, it's April Fool's. And he's like, haha, yeah, they really got a lot of people, but I don't think we'll ever build it. And I'm like, well, you should.
Mark said so.
But it'll never sell.
Yeah, they need to build it.
A giant two-door SUV like that will never sell. There will be a handful of rednecks and Mark.
Yes.
Show up at the dealer, and that's it. They'll sell like 9 of them.
I will. You know, and like if GM did the same thing with a Blazer, that would be the best day of my entire life. Like, what do I buy? The Blazer or the Bronco? You know? So
Buy them both.
There you go.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a brand to come back, there's two options on my list: either Renault or Holden. And I know Holden's pretty much dead anyways.
Yeah,
but
Holden's dead.
I'd love to see Holden come over here just for its last year. Just say, oh, okay, what the hell, bring it over. Get the
But
Ute,
we
the
already-
Commodore, all
we
the
already
HS
have- Well, but we already have the good Holden.
No, we
The
don't.
SS.
Yeah, the Chevy
No, we
SS.
don't have- I want the whole. I want the Ute. Bring the Ute.
Okay,
Yeah, the Ute would be really
the
cool.
Ute would be cool. I would like to have the Maloo.
I mean, like,
that would be all right.
like imagine this. All right, I've got a sedan. Now I'm going to stick a Corvette engine in it. Now I'm going to put a truck bed on it. Like, that's ridiculously
It's the best car
But
ever.
That's what that car is. It's a Corvette-powered truck car.
Well, yeah, it's just it's a modern day El Camino,
Yeah, that's what it is.
and it is pretty awesome. So yeah, there you go. We're gonna do this one. We're gonna hit really quick. Darren 007, do you guys have any info on if Mazda will do another Mazda Speed 6? It's a shame they stopped with all-wheel drive and 260 horsepower. The all-wheel drive or the old one was fun. A friend of mine has one and it's pretty impressive, even by today's standards. 260 horsepower isn't all that much. Yeah, the answer is no.
No. Yeah, no, I don't have any info, and no, they're not bringing it back.
It's just the answer is just no. That car will not come back.
The Mazda 6 has changed so much. A Mazda
Does
Speed
Mazda
version
even
just
have
won't
an
fit.
all-wheel drive drivetrain anymore? Like, I don't even think the CX-9 has an all-wheel drive option. does
Yeah,
it?
they have one for the
You can get one in the
CX-5.
CX-9, I think.
Yeah, they have one for the CX-5 too.
Oh, okay. So, well, if they have one for the CX-5, they could technically move that to a Mazda 6 chassis, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah, the Mazda 6 has changed too much. They're going for a different demographic with it. It's grown up there. They don't need a Mazda Speed version of it, I don't think.
And I don't think they ever needed the Mazda Speed version of the 6 to begin with. If
That's
you
true.
are a Mazda fan and you want a fun, quick car, go find a Mazda 6 wagon with the 6-speed manual. It had a V6. That car is actually quicker than the CX-7 and the old Mazda Speed 6. And it has more room than both of those as well. So that's what you should get if you're interested in something cool and fun that's Mazda. All right. Albert Fox says, what? And this is my favorite question of the week, Albert Fox.
I know what you're going to say.
What new safety tech do you find most helpful and annoying? I, for one, am very pleased with the blind spot monitoring system. My car has some small LEDs in the mirror, not too big to become distracting or annoying, but I know some cars have beeps and crazy flashing lights that can be very annoying.
Christian likes the button that turns them all off.
Christian wants a car from the 1950s with nothing.
It doesn't have to be 1950s. I've got a Porsche from 1984 that works just fine.
He's like, I'm going to double clutch my 3 on the tree.
And I did double clutch my 3 on the tree when I owned the F1 when I owned that F100, homie.
I know.
Double clutch it to go into second from third. But so I find most of them annoying. I will say they're all, well, not all, a large chunk of them can be helpful. There are some of these big crossovers and things that I get where, as annoying as the blind spot monitoring system is at night, it is nice in the day to not have to like turn and crane my head to try and see if there's a car back there because the blind spots are so huge in these machines. But my top 2 most obnoxious and hated safety features: lane departure warning and adaptive cruise control.
And what was the second one?
Adaptive cruise.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
So go ahead.
I love me some rear view monitors. I love it because I don't like moving around to look behind me. It's easier just looking at the screen and lay the part or blind spot monitoring. That's my.
I do like the around view monitor, the top down.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Have that
by the
be,
way,
you know,
the F-150 has that now.
Yeah.
nice. And I also like the blind spot monitor is a lifesaver in the Odyssey because it's so big and long you can't see what's really in your blind spot.
Yeah.
The ones I hate the most, I'm gonna have to mimic Christian on this one. I hate with a passion. That's why I growled when you said it. I hate lane departure. It's the first thing I turn off when I get a new press car. Because if you come even close to the line, beep 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 beep.
Well, and here in Tennessee, a lot of these back roads I live on are so narrow. It's like either I have to straddle the line, or like because you just barely fit in your lane. And it's a lot of the roads where I live are that thing where if another car's coming, you slow down and you both sort of get just barely off the edge of the road. And so the thing's just going off constantly while you drive.
Yeah.
It's like, no, off. Ugh. And I hate the adaptive cruise control because they always seem to kick in from such a big distance.
Yeah, that's
Like, I hate when there's somebody who's in the fast lane going obnoxiously slow and they don't move. So you go over to go around them, and your car starts to speed up, but then it sees a car like 900 feet ahead of you. So it's like, no, we're going to start slowing you down there. Like, no, I have room. I have eyes. I can do this. Just let me pass this other guy. And I can't pass them with the cruise control system on because the cruise control slows me down. And it's just really annoying. But again, I also do lots of incredibly long distance drives. And in those situations, the adaptive cruise control seems to hurt me more than it helps me.
Yeah, I would have to go with the lane departure as well. I had the Nissan Altima a couple weeks ago, and when it showed up at my house, it was off. And I started playing with all the settings, and I was like, oh, lane departure, let me turn that on and try that out. It lasted all of about 30 seconds, because it was like, beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep.
Yes.
I'm like, nope, back off.
Yeah, what's worse is if you have a passenger who's a passenger side driver. They're like, oh, you're off the lane every time it goes off.
Yes, shut up.
Oh, I have someone who does that to me. It makes me insane. I'm not going to mention her name.
Well, you only live with one person.
She's just got her driver's license set out. She's like the queen driver. So.
But yeah, it's just like, ugh, man, seriously, like, no, stop beeping at me.
Yes.
And then when I was in the Buick, that had lane departure, but it had the fancy vibrating seat. That scared the crap out of me.
You know, I like the vibrating seat.
If I had known it was there, if I had known it was there, like that's the thing is I didn't know it. I just got in the car and I'm driving around and I made it, a fairly good distance down the road with apparently out crossing over any of the lines, and I'm just driving and suddenly I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I had no idea it was in the car. And it just like frightened me because suddenly the whole car is vibrating. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh wait, the whole car's not vibrating. It's just my ass.
The other obnoxious safety feature that I don't like, but I know it's there for a reason, is the lockout on navigation, where when the navigation locks out when you're driving, why can't they put a passenger mode in it where the passenger can at least go, okay, it's the passenger, here's the passcode. Okay, now
some cars will do that.
Yeah, the CX-5 I have right now, after you drive so far and you're cruising, it'll activate again where you can actually start punching stuff in. But
like there are I can't remember what it was, but there's been at least one that won't let me type in it. But then when my wife was sitting in the passenger seat and like it could sense a person there, it never turned the lockout on.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yes, which is how they should be.
Yes, if they sense a person in the passenger seat, I think they should at least have to enter something and agree that, yes, this is the passenger controlling to cover their asses. But, yes, that's what it needs to do. They need to have some way for the passenger to access
and I have had cars like that, like when you're moving, you try to hit it, it pops up and says, do not use this while moving, and it gives you like a 5-second countdown. If you don't hit OK in that 5 seconds, and actually it says, OK, I agree and I am a passenger, or cancel, and if you don't click anything within like 5 seconds, it shuts off again. Yeah. And so I guess the idea is they know that that's about the amount of time if you reach down and touch it, where you glance back up, and the amount of time you keep your eyes on the road to when you glance back to try and touch it again is about that 5-second mark, so that's why they set that timer.
Yeah.
So you're constantly trying to get it to work if you're the driver, but if you're the passenger, you just be like, yeah, okay, and go.
Mm-hmm. I had that issue with the Odyssey because it had by far the worst voice activation system ever, so I was constantly pulling off to the side of the road to use the damn GPS.
Yeah. I just press my little button on my phone and I talk to it. Hey Siri, what was the score of the Steelers game? Maybe? She gonna tell me? She doesn't want to tell me, apparently. Looks like it's saved.
Siri must be a Steeler fan.
Apparently. What was the score anyways?
It was
the Steelers lost a close one to the Buccaneers last Sunday. The final score was 27-24.
What's worse is the fact that I live in Tampa, so yeah, I'm getting it from all angles now.
Oh, but wait, you know what? I wonder. What was the score of the Packers game? Wait. What was the score of the Packers game?
The Packers crushed the Vikings by a score of 42-10 yesterday.
But you know,
the
whatever.
Vikings, they had Chris Ponder back at quarterback.
I know.
My goodness.
They beat the crap out of the Bears too.
They had that, and then Adrian Peterson beat his kid, so he's not on the team anymore. Oh, he's on the team, suspended.
Yeah, all right.
Anyways, okay, let's jump into own drive.
They're gonna beat the Gators.
Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, I don't care about college football.
Yeah, you do.
Really, no, really. If the Packers are not playing, I could not care less about any sports in the world, really, except for Formula One. I don't care about soccer. I don't care about any college sports. I don't care about basketball. I don't care. I really don't care that much about most NFL football. I just like the Packers.
Hey, by the way, I'll be at the Steeler game in Jacksonville this week, so if anyone wants to see me, I'll be there.
Oh, well. I'll wave bye to you as you
Sobbing
cross
as the team loses.
Los Angeles Players.
We're going to jump into Own Drive Burn.
Okay, yeah, no football show.
So, Own Drive Burn this week is from Mr. Gary Davis. Thank you, Gary, for jumping in and helping us out here.
Yeah, appreciate the good
Our three
lineup here.
choices
Yes.
are F-Type R, AMG GT, and the new Z06.
Z06.
No, we're not in
As Jeremy,
Z.
Jeremy Clarkson would say.
Yeah.
Of course,
but we're
Gary,
not.
thank you for the modern cars. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So this one's super kind of hard.
Yeah.
And I
I can go first.
yeah, go ahead.
All right, so the F-Type R, beautiful, beautiful car, and that's the one I'd probably drive every day. The Z06, fantastic car, and I'm going to have to drive it at least once because it is magnificently awesome. But I imagine the F-Type R would be a little bit easier to live with. The AMG GT, yeah, it's cool and all, but I'm not really a Mercedes AMG kind of guy. I appreciate them very, very, very much, but I'll let it match that one.
Yeah, mine's going kind of similar to yours. AMG, I just have to burn it because it's a great car, but it's kind of sort of an SLS downsize. I mean, mine it's a gold wing doors. Between the F-Type R and the Z06, that's kind of hard. But my basis is on reliability. Jaguar notoriously has reliability issues. Still do to this day. It's not solved. And I wouldn't want to have to fix the F-Type R when it finally breaks. If I'm going to have to drive this car forever, it's going to break some point. So I'm going to want to drive that once just because it is such an awesome car, and I want to feel it one time. The Z06, I drive that all day, every day till the wheels fall off. And Mark, what sick thing just ran through your head? Are you thinking of a D joke?
Mark, are you going to give us the D?
Just keep talking. Keep talking.
I wanted it inside me.
Here's my thing that's making this difficult for me is the F-Type R is probably without a doubt the most beautiful car in production today.
Yeah.
It just is. The F-Type Coupe is the prettiest thing that exists right now. It's probably the only car that's prettier than an Aston Martin, probably because it was designed by the same guy. But AMG GT, also incredibly good looking, also should be an incredible performer. It arguably between the F-Type and the AMG could be the better sports car because the F-Type is almost more of a muscle car sort of thing. And if AMG has done everything, or if Mercedes has done everything to the AMG GT that they say they have to make it tighter and tauter and more sporty, it could be the better driver's car. And then you have the 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, holy crap, oh my god, Z06.
2.95, by the way.
Yeah, 2.95. Yeah.
Except it won't be, because the car I'm going to own and drive every day is the Z06, because it's the only one with 3 pedals.
Ah.
Touche.
And 7 speeds on that manual. So yeah, that is what I'm going to own every day, and
Burn the Benz.
Yes, burn it. It's not a Benz, it's a Mercedes AMG. There's no Benz in there.
Whatever.
Well, you know what? I think I'm actually going to drive the AMG GT once,
Oh, you suck at life.
and I'm going to burn the F-Type R. But the reason I'm going to burn the F-Type R is because at least while it's burning, I have all the time while it's on fire. Like I have that entire time that it's burning to the ground to sit there and stare at it and appreciate its beauty. When you're driving it and you only get to drive it once, like that's your one time, and you spend most of your time inside of the car not getting a chance to look at it. So I think by burning it, I get more chance to look at it than I would if I was just to drive it once. So.
Okay, so I missed your drive and burn. Which one did you pick? My son ran in. Had to.
I'm burning the
out.
F-Type.
Oh, you suck!
But again, the reasoning is
No,
Yeah,
no,
he wants
no,
to watch
la,
it
la,
die
la, la,
slowly.
la, I'm not listening.
He wants
no.
He wants to watch it die slowly. He wants to
There is-
poison his dog and watch it suffer.
There is a sense to my madness. So when you drive it, when you're inside the car, you can't look at it. And we just discussed how beautiful it is. So at least while it's burning, I have a chance to sit there and admire its pretty curves. Plus, fire is kind of cool to watch. So it's this combination of beauty that is fire and the beauty that is the F-Type together, and I get to actually look at the F-Type. Whereas if I'm driving it, I'm just inside of it listening to it, which does sound good. But
You can stare at it out your window all day if you like.
But no, I couldn't because I'm going to keep the Z06 because 3 pedals for the win, mother cracker. I refuse. If there is a choice with a manual, I'm going with the manual.
Okay.
Honestly, if this was F-Type AMG GT or Golf GTI with a manual, I would own the Golf GTI because 3 pedals.
Says the man with the Scion FRS shirt.
Yes, 3 pedals. Still not as good as the Miata with 3 pedals, but 3 pedals.
Well, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff out there that has 3 pedals too. You got the gas, you got the brake, and then over on the side you got the e-brake. So I mean, yeah, it's got 3 pedals.
Oh, what about the dead
Most of
pedal?
them
Dead
don't,
pedal
though.
qualifies.
Most of them don't have the foot brake. They've got stupid buttons in them now,
Yeah, that's true.
which is obnoxious.
Even the F-150 has an e-brake.
You know what does not have a handbrake? 2014 Porsche 911. It has an electronic parking brake.
So hooligans like you can't do e-brake lockups. J-turn!
But the Prius comes with a foot brake, and that'll do a parking brake turn. I've done it.
Imagining someone do it. I want to see someone do it. That'd be hilarious. Someone do it. Brr-dunk.
No, I did it. It's fantastic.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I did it actually the day I went to drive the Lamborghini for the Gotham Dream Cars event. There was a guy there who was making fun of the Prius and how it's not a car you can have fun in. And then as I was leaving, they just hear a honking noise and they look into the parking lot as they see a Prius go. It was the best day ever. I just see them all across the parking lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show. It's been a very extremely long show, but we covered Paris and we had a lot of questions and all that.
It's been a 2-hour show.
Oh,
No, it has not been 2 hours. It's been an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So, again, thank you everyone who's tuned in to watch. We appreciate it. We know it's a long show, but we figured with everything cool going on at Paris, you guys wouldn't mind so much. Thank you again for the questions. Questions are super awesome, and we think that those are probably the best part of the show, and we probably think you guys agree too. So don't forget to leave us questions in a little
More
comment
questions.
section. We need all the questions we can. I only have one more own drive burn waiting in the queue, so throw us some own drive burns so we have those piled up for us to use. Also, last week I announced that I have this cool Lego car that I can give away. All you have to do is send me an email. Who wants to guess how many emails I got?
Big fat goose egg.
0. Nobody sent me an email. So nobody won. So if you think it'd be something cool that you'd like to have, send me an email, and there's a good chance you'll probably win. Christian at TopSpeed.com. You can also send me any questions you have just about the podcast in general, or you can also reach us, podcast at TopSpeed.com. Don't forget you can find us on the Twitters. The Twitter for the podcast is at TopSpeed Podcast. You can find me directly at Moferd. That is Moeferd. Justin is the Car Junkie, and Mark is at Mark McNabb, but he prefers you to find him on the Instagrammies.
That's not true
Also,
anymore. I'm going back to Twitter.
Still at Mark McNabb. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for all your questions, comments, suggestions. We love hearing from you. As you guys can tell, we read all of them. So yeah, thank you very much, and we will see you guys next week. Next week show
Probably on Wednesday.
say next week is probably a Wednesday show.
And I will not be here.
You won't be here on Wednesday either?
No, sir. I leave on Tuesday.
Oh, so next week's probably going to be a Wednesday show because Mark has gone to drive more trucks on Thursday.
No, I leave on Wednesday, but it'll be Wednesday night, so we probably need to do like an early morning show.
We're going to have a podcast sometime next week. I'll figure it out. All right, guys, thank you very much. If you're interested in when the podcast is going to be, keep your eyes on the site. We always do a post at least a day early to tell you when the podcast is going to be. I will also make sure it gets posted to our Top Speed Podcast Twitter. So thank you everyone for watching, and I want to say a huge thank you, just personally, because I like having you guys, and I like that you let me sit here and complain about lane departure warning systems for no reason. I'm going to play some music and the show's over. Goodbye, kids.
Thank you.